College football is back, and we're back live on the Big Mountain.
We are live on the Big Mountain, and we are under a new situation, Steve.
Yes.
We are using a new software without our producer, and I said the over-under on my cusses tonight is 1.5.
Yeah, we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Flying by the seat of our pants. And we're also doing another thing new. We are actually streaming live on both YouTube and on X right now. Another first that we're doing that because of the platform that I'm using in order to stream.
Yeah.
So hopefully everyone can hear us. If someone can give us a quick thumbs up, it looks like everything's working on our end. But again, you know what happens when you assume?
Yeah.
You make an arse of yourself.
Out of you and me.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yes, if somebody wouldn't mind giving us a little comment that you can hear us just fine, would be appreciated. And yes, thank you, Bill. We will try to keep up with comments. I think I'll be able to see comments from both YouTube and from X on here. But JY is going to do his best to try and keep with what the heck we're doing. So if you can watch comments, great.
I will.
But we may be a little lax on comments tonight.
So they're asking what software we're using. Is it StreamYard?
Yeah, I went for that free week's worth of StreamYard. So yes, I'm using StreamYard for this. That's not what our producer usually uses, but that is what I am using right now. And it's pretty cool. But I just learned it earlier today, and we're using it right now. So that's the way she goes. So yes, thank you for all those thumbs up. I do have to remember there's a delay on this chat, but not on this chat. And I'm going to be reaching for my mouse when I really mean to be using my pad. And again, 1.5 on the cusses coming out of my mouth today.
So it looks like Bill, that college football guy, got the #1 crown today. So it was our first member that made a comment. So
and then it's how many comments?
Oh,
it tracks,
okay. All right.
It tracks the numbers of comments. But anyway, cool. So good to have all you guys back with us. We got a really cool show. Of course, we don't have the beer mug. I didn't know how the heck to do that.
Yeah.
But we're going to go over-under picks in terms of wins.
Love it.
For every Big Ten team, every Mountain West team. And then next week, we're going to put out our previews for the Big Ten and the Mountain West. We'll go a lot more deeper. I'm not going to give a lot of detail on it tonight.
Yes.
I'm going to give the pick. You get a pick.
Over
and then if you want to know why we think some things, you can watch our previews next week.
Yeah, and our previews, I don't know if you're doing it the same way I'm doing it or not, but my preview will have the exact record prediction.
I'm planning on doing that, yes.
So,
yes, exact record prediction.
Yes.
And reasons why we're doing an exact record prediction.
Yeah.
So really, really cool. Good to have you here with us. I believe we're upwards of 30, 40 people. It looks like we have maybe 25-ish on YouTube and another maybe 15 on X, which is awesome. So we're going to go for a live show here on 2 platforms, Steve, and we're going to start.
I'm ready to rock and
with
roll.
You.
Yeah. So
in the Big Ten.
I'm excited. We got fall camp. We're about a week into most Big Ten fall camps. I think a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks into Mountain West football camps. I've been watching Big Ten Networks had their road show where they go and visit all the Big Ten campuses, which has been awesome. They did Penn State the other night. They've done Maryland. Really cool.
Okay.
So I'm ready to get in. I'm ready to make some picks. That's what we do on the Big Mountain. We're finally in a football season. So I'm going to make over-under picks for every single Big Ten team. Are we ready to get started?
We are, and hopefully our slides are in the same order because I think you went alphabetically.
Yes, I did go.
So I went off the list you gave me.
Yep.
Looky, Steve, I'm able to split the screen.
Love it.
Freaking do.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what we get with no P.W. Baker Productions.
Yes.
It is what it is. So, all right, we got Illinois, and I have 2 slides. We didn't prep this in any way whatsoever.
No,
I got this, and then when you make the pick, I got another slide. Tells everybody what it's going to be.
I'm ready. Well, I'm coming out the gate with a banger here, okay?
Hey, quick shout out to Matt Ritson.
Yeah.
What think new ESPN plan $30 includes WWE? We're going to save that one.
Yes.
Matt, we're going to save that. Let's talk about that in between your picks and my picks.
Okay,
all right, I'm going to make myself a note, Matt.
Yep.
We can talk about this new ESPN sitch. So go for it.
Okay, so coming out the gate heavy, hot and heavy right away. I'm going Illinois, so the over and under is 7.5. I am pounding that over. I've been giving it to you guys all summer, all spring and summer, giving you that Illinois over. I'm pounding that thing, and I'm making it my first Big Mountain ice cold lock of the season. Boom.
I don't have the sound effect either.
We don't have our producer, but so everyone knows this is a Big Mountain ice cold lock, 7.5. I would go 8.5. I think I would go 9.5. So if you look at, so you can get some alt lines, alt spreads, whatever. I am pounding this Illinois 7.5 and making it my first Big Mountain ice cold lock of the season.
Ooh, I love it. I'm already on it. I'm actually on it twice.
Yeah.
I loved it so much the first time. I did it again a second time.
All right. That's perfect. Okay. So moving on. Next team, we got Indiana, the Hoosiers, Kurt Cignetti's team.
Yep.
Can they do it again? Well, here's the deal. The over-under is 8.5. I think they can do it again as far as hitting the over. So I'm going with over 8.5 for Indiana. I feel safe with them getting to 9 wins. I don't know if they'll get to double digits again. Maybe they will, but I feel safe with them getting to 9 wins. So I'm hitting the over for Indiana, over 8.5.
Well, and these are two teams you've been talking about now for a few months.
Yes.
For those that have followed, you did some early lines maybe a month or so ago. We've talked about both of these teams, especially Illinois. So if you're a dweller, you're not surprised. But, it's funny that, we're going alphabetical, but we're starting with two teams that you're pretty high on.
And one thing I tell you, and I say this every year, Vegas, they kind of go, they don't do a deep dive into the schedules when they look at these. They just kind of go on the long-term vibes and outlook of the program. I really don't think they do a deep dive on the schedule. I've noticed that for some of these teams. So I'm sticking with the over on Indiana, over 8.5. And moving right along to my next team, Iowa, the Hawkeyes.
Mm-hmm.
Their over and under is 7.5. I'm hitting the over on that as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Last year I picked them to go 10-2. They went 8-4. They underachieved a little bit.
Yeah.
This year I feel safe with them hitting the over, even if they underachieve a little bit. So we're going Iowa over 7.5.
Well, and if you saw both Steve's rankings of quarterbacks and coaches, Iowa was up there pretty high in both of those rankings. Have a great coach. And you think are going to have maybe a better quarterback than they've had here of late.
Yeah, and I can't remember his name right now, but bringing
the
really experienced championship winning quarterback from South Dakota State. I'm really excited to see what he can do in the Big Ten, especially on an Iowa team that they always play good defense, run the ball, special teams, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So okay, moving forward, Maryland. This is a team I've been down on. Their over and under is 4.5. Last year, I went the under with them. I think they were like 6.5, and I hit the under, and I had Maryland fans questioning that. Well, they definitely went under last year. I think they go under again. So I'm going with Maryland under 4.5, which, I mean, that's a low number, but I really think they're going to struggle this year.
Well, you had them bottom of the barrel, I think, on both your lists.
Yes.
Quarterback and coaching.
Yeah.
Not to poo-poo them when they're down.
That doesn't help.
No, that doesn't help. No, not at all.
Okay. Moving forward, this might be my most controversial take of the night, I guess, potentially. Michigan, 8.5, 2 years removed from a national title. Always a solid program with a lot of talent, kind of rebuilding, bringing in some new quarterbacks this year through the transfer portal and signed a 5-star Bryce Underwood. The line's only 8.5 for them, but I'm going with the under. I think, last year they had a kind of a rebuilding year, down year. I see another down year for Michigan. So I'm going with under 8.5.
Well, this is your trifecta.
Yes.
You ranked them pretty low in their quarterbacks.
Yes.
You ranked them really low in their coaching because of other things than I think just the guy, just kind of what's going on with the program, right? And now you're going under. So I said how hot you started with Illinois and Indiana. Now you've poo-pooed on two teams.
Yeah. I got some more overs coming up.
Okay.
So Michigan State, the over-under is 5.5. I don't know if JEH is on here tonight. Hopefully he's not here quite yet. Hopefully he'll miss this.
Well, you talk, I'll look.
Okay. So Michigan State, the over and under is 5.5. Coach Jonathan Smith is in, part of that rebuild, has that rebuild going. Aiden Childs showed some flashes last year, but also showed some really terrible mistakes at times.
Yeah.
I think they hit the over 5.5 this year. So I'm going Michigan State over 5.5.
I'm slow on my clicker.
That's okay.
Michigan over. Do you feel like 5.5 is kind of like that's a good line though, right? Like
I think they were under. I think Vegas is just underselling them.
Okay.
We'll see how my exact record predictions, but I might even go over 6.5 for them.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, there's a question, but I want you to get to another team before I ask the question.
All right. So my next one here, Minnesota. last year, I went back and looked, and I was pretty dead spot on with these Big Ten teams over and under.
You did well.
One of my big misses, though, was Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I had the under on them last year, and they overachieved. Not making that mistake again this year.
Mm-hmm.
My only question mark coming into this season was the quarterback position.
Right.
I've been watching some training camps. I'm not going to talk about them too much right now. We'll talk about them more in the season preview.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe they might have found a quarterback. So I feel really good about going over 6.5 for Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
I like the PJ Flex crew rowing the boat and hitting the over 6.5 for Minnesota.
Okay. All right. Matthew is saying that the 8 wins, that over number, because they were 7.5, right? What were the?
Who are you talking about? Minnesota?
No. Illinois. Sorry,
Illinois was 7.5.
Yeah. So to be over the 7.5, it's a minus 155. So the bettors are on that over a little bit too. And it may, we'll see what happens. It may move.
Yeah, I think it got over the 200 point at one point.
Oh, did it?
And so, and I would even take them if you can get an alternate spread. Some sites offer that.
Some do.
I would go over 8.5, and I'd be fine going all the way up to over 9.5.
Ooh, that's some money. Yeah. You sprinkle it in, right? You just pyramid that sucker.
Sure.
Right. All right. So we're on to Nebraska.
Okay. The over under for Nebraska is 7.5. They had pretty solid season last year. Maybe not quite as good as they were hoping. Dylan Raiola got a lot of experience last year, had some good moments, had some bad moments. I think you could just continue to see the progression you always see in Matt Rule teams in college football. And I think we're going to continue to see that this year. So I'm going with Nebraska over 7.5.
Over 7.5. And you like that Raiola character.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to hear you talk more about. I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah.
Like we could talk about this for a while.
Right.
And that's not what this is for. This is to make picks.
Picks.
I'm anxious for some of these previews to hear what you have to say, a little more depth on some of these teams. So, Steve, you know what's really interesting? We have about 50-50 in terms of viewers on the X platform versus the YouTube platform.
Okay.
So maybe some of our normal dwellers have decided to watch us on X tonight. I don't really know. But yeah, so awesome. We don't usually do X.
No,
so if you're watching us on X, welcome to the Big Mountain. And we always do a YouTube show.
Yeah.
So maybe we're hitting some peeps that have never seen us before, but maybe they'll enjoy it. So let's keep going. Shut up, JY. And you're going to Northwestern.
So we're going to hit a trend here, starting with Northwestern. Northwestern, they're only 3.5. The over and under is only 3.5.
Yeah.
I think they're going to struggle again this year.
Yeah.
I looked at their schedule. I really struggle to find where they're going to get some wins. I believe they have a game against Purdue.
Okay.
That's probably their biggest hope in the Big Ten for getting a win. So I'm going under 3.5 for Northwestern. Just another struggling rebuilding year. And I'll talk about it more in my Big Ten preview. But for now, I'll just say I expect them to struggle and hit the under. Really struggle to get a win in the Big Ten.
And they are still in their
high school.
Yes, they're this is year 2 of 2, right?
Yeah,
they'll be out of it for next season.
Yes, and it looks, the new stadium looks beautiful.
Yeah, I saw some pics.
This is a big year for the coach, because next year David Braun. Yeah,
I saw some pictures of their stadium. It looks really cool, but it looks very
up and down.
Right? Oh man,
yeah,
they are on top of the freaking field.
That's how they're building all the stadiums now. The Buffalo Bills, and the NFL are building a new stadium. Right, It's like that.
Oh man,
it makes it louder, puts the fans right on top of it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. But all right, where are we going to now?
So Ohio State. This might be another maybe somewhat controversial pick. Again, totally loaded team. They have probably the best. I won't say probably, definitely. They have the best defensive player in the Big Ten.
Okay.
They have the best offensive player in the Big Ten. They have Ryan Day coming back as the head coach who took them to the championship last year.
Yep.
But what are they missing? They're replacing all their coordinators.
Yep.
Basically their entire offensive line and some of the defensive line.
Yes.
Tons of skill players all over. I mean, they're loaded with talent. So they're going to be bringing people up. Their over under is 10.5. My biggest thing with them this year is breaking in a new quarterback with a new offensive line, with a new offensive coordinator. So I'm going under 10.5 for Ohio State. You look at their schedule, and I'm going to break down their schedule pretty heavily when we do our Big Ten preview.
Sure.
They're going to have a hard time getting to 11 wins.
Okay.
Throughout the season.
Right.
Now, they might be in a position where they get to like 9 wins, and or even 10 wins. So they would still be the under and still be in a position to potentially make a college football playoff spot,
right?
But still hit the under. So I'm going with under 10.5 for Ohio State. I think they'll be in that 9 to 10 range, probably.
They've been a top dog for so long, and they're always up there at 10.5.
Yeah.
I mean, they have one slip up,
right?
Two, I guess, but unless you're having a perfect season,
yeah.
Like 10.5 it's hard to go over continually.
And some seasons they've been, I think they were at 11.5, maybe last year.
Sure, there's been a couple 11.5s. Yeah, no doubt.
So moving right along, similar theme. Oregon, they're right at a 10.5, and I'm going under.
Okay,
similar theme. They're new quarterback coming in. Dante Moore transferred in last year, got a little bit of experience, but the jury is really out on this guy. And they're coming off of two really good quarterbacks. Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel were out of this world the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They lost their best wide receivers. I think the offense may struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
They have kind of a difficult schedule in some ways. I mean, just playing in the Big Ten, all that travel and everything. Yeah. I think it's going to be difficult for them to get to 11 wins. So I am saying I'm going with the under 10.5 for Oregon.
Well, I like the under. I don't know their schedule.
Yeah.
But I like the under Oregon 10.5 better than the under Ohio State 10.5. There were some comments off of the QB episode that you did about this is, they've done well. And we talked about it on the show. Like, they did well there with Nix and then Gabriel. And this is a step below that. Like the quarterback now is not who those two guys were. Maybe the whole team really isn't either. So
doesn't have anywhere near the experience. Those two guys. He might be as talented,
sure,
but does not have the experience.
Yep. All right, off to your Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yeah. So the top three teams: Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State. That's the expectation. They were all at 10.5, and I hit the under for the first two, just because basically replacing so many guys, lost so many guys. Penn State is kind of a different story this year. They brought back basically their entire offensive line. They bring back their starting quarterback, this will be his third or fourth year as a starter. Bringing back both running backs, their 1,000-yard running backs last year, their fourth years as starters. Most of the defense, I mean, they're bringing back like 85-90% of the production of this team from last year.
Sure,
runs a year older. More experience, all that. I expect them to do really well. And the Big Ten, the big thing in the Big Ten with 18 teams is there is imbalanced schedule. And out of the three schedules of the top teams, Penn State's by far is much easier. They get Oregon at home. They get Indiana at home. They do have to travel to Ohio State, which can be tough. But if they can take care of business at home, it still puts them at 11 wins, even if they lose to Ohio State again, which I think this year may be the year they beat them. We'll see.
Sure.
Still puts them at 11 wins. So I'm going with over 10.5 on Penn State.
I may have clicked the mouse a little early.
Well, whatever.
I thought you were going for it, and then then I'm like, oh crap, did I miss it?
It's all good.
Okay, so over, and I think really the swing there is, I'm going to say it because it's pretty obvious. The Ohio State Penn State game, you're giving that game right now to Penn State.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. Even if they don't win that game, I think they would be the over.
But what about Ohio State though?
You're talking about Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah. But what if Ohio State wins that game?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
I'm saying for both sides of it.
From both sides. Yeah, I think Penn State is more likely to win that game.
Yeah.
But even if they didn't, I think they could still hit the over, being 11-1 like they were last year.
But if Ohio State wins the game, you're saying
Ohio State has a much tougher schedule.
Okay.
We'll go through it a little more in detail.
All right, I'll stop. I'll stop.
The Ohio State has like 6 games where it's going to be – Penn State basically has a 2-game season.
Okay.
Maybe 3. If you throw Indiana in there, they got 3 tough games.
Okay. All right. I'll stop prying.
Okay. All right.
We'll wait for next week.
Yeah. Okay. So moving right along, Purdue. We're in a different story now with them. I think they're going to struggle. They have David Odom coming over.
Barry Odom,
sorry. I think he'll do a good job rebuilding this team. But this year, the cupboard was bare when he got there. I know he's bringing in some players, but it's tough. I don't expect him to be able to do like Kurt Cignetti did at Indiana last year. And Purdue has a rough schedule. I think they're going to struggle to find wins, honestly, in the Big Ten. So their over-under is 3.5, and I'm going under. Purdue under 3.5.
Wow, Purdue under 3.5. What did they have last year? Remember?
Oh man, I think they won 2 games last year. Yeah, something like that. I think they went winless in the Big Ten and lost one of the outer conference games. So.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a grind there for Barry Odom at Purdue here to get things turned around. So, all right, you are going to Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, so Rutgers, I like their coach. This one kind of flips the script because I like their coach.
Mm-hmm.
I like the experience that the quarterback has coming back. Last year, I put a lot of money on the over for them, and I think you did as well.
Yes.
A lot of that, I loved their schedule. They had one of the easier schedules in the Big Ten. A lot of people made so much of Indiana having an easy schedule. Rutgers had an easier schedule. Now they had some injuries along the way, and they did hit the over, but it was maybe closer than we were hoping. But this year,
it was the last game.
Yeah, last game they had to hit it. Yeah. So I think last year was over and under was 6.5, and they got their 7th win in the last game. So this year, I think the schedule is completely flopped. It's a harder schedule. Even though I like their coach, I like a lot of things about their team, their experience level. I think they're going to struggle this year to have a winning record.
Okay.
The over and under is 5.5. And I just went through the detailed schedule game by game.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that many wins. So I'm going under 5.5 for Rutgers. Completely different than the outlook from last year.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, a couple things. I'm going to let you take a quick break here because we have 2 comments I want to talk about. And don't worry, we did not forget about Matt's question about ESPN. We'll get to that here in a little bit as well. So Kendrick, he gives us a very nice compliment. Kendrick says, 2 of the most credible guys on YouTube on all this realignment. Hashtag go Clemson Tigers.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you, Kendrick. We appreciate that. We try to keep it real and we're not one of those, we're not doing realignment apps every 2 days, right? Like we do them when we feel like there's news and you hear something, we hear something. And anyway, so appreciate that, Kendrick. We try to be, try to keep it real.
I appreciate that comment from Kendrick. I appreciate having a Clemson fan on here.
There you go.
And I just want to make sure Kendrick knows if he becomes a membership level, it becomes a member at the second level. I forget what it's called now. Mountain Climbers, I think. Yeah, Climber. It gets you into our Discord. That's going to be very active as we get into the season on game days, especially. And we have a Clemson channel in our Discord where we're going to have Clemson talk in there. So, Kendrick, if you want to become a member, get in the Discord, and we'll get some Clemson game day talk going on.
Quick shout out to people on YouTube. We got Brad, Phil, Sergeant, Fia just joined, Matthew, Jerry, of course, Bill, Brady, Moses, Las Vegas, Larry. We got several members in here, and the crew from when we had our happy hour out there in Vegas. James is here as well. Man, I think we got every member in here, which is fantastic. Jared says, go Pokes. Yep, we're going to be getting to the Mountain West here in just a few minutes. I'll be giving my over-under picks. But I did want to go back to, where was it? Somebody mentioned, Phil. I waited until you got to Rutgers. His comment was Maryland and Rutgers shouldn't have joined the Big Ten in the first place.
I would disagree with that.
Okay.
And I'll give a short answer for that.
Okay.
At the time that they joined, the Big Ten was really looking to expand their TV market, TV footprint, and getting them in really helped the conference take the next step to what they are now today. Big Ten would not be what they are today. You got to look beyond the field, the football field, to understand why they were added. And it is tough for them to get wins, but they both have good basketball programs. Yeah. And if there's no reason they can't do what Indiana did last year.
Sure.
You bring in the right coach. You invest in players. You get them in. You can do the same thing.
Yep. Okay. That was it. Fia, I'm going to parlay your question in with Matt about ESPN. Fia was asking about Red Zone and ESPN. Yeah. So let's keep going on the Big Ten. You are to UCLA.
Yeah. So I have no hate against UCLA. I think they're continuing to develop. Coach Deshaun Foster, he got off to a rocky start last year, but they overachieved a little bit. I looked at their schedule this year. I think they could be slightly improved from last year, but maybe have a less wins because their schedule is not easy, especially with all that travel. So I'm taking the under 5.5 for UCLA.
Okay.
Just their schedule, the travel, and I think they're just another year off from the development that they need. Now, this one is a close one. I think 5.5 was a good number.
Okay.
Because I really struggled with them when I was looking at between like 5-6 wins. Maybe if they really, maybe they could get to 7 wins, but I think more likely they'll be under that, under 6 wins. So that's why I went with the under 5.5.
Very good. Coming down the home stretch, USC.
Yeah, so USC is kind of the opposite. They're bringing quite a few players back, a lot of returning production. They're loaded with talent. I love Jada Maeva on this team. He got some experience last year running the offense about halfway through the season, took over, gave him just some experience and now he's had an off season, spring ball, off season training camp, coming in as the starter. Lincoln Riley has a good track record with quarterbacks. I don't know if Lincoln Riley and the coaching staff are going to be do enough to get them into the CFP. That's a different conversation than we talked about. But their over and under is 7.5, and I think that's low. I've gone through their schedule. I think they can rack up some big wins here. So I'm going over 7.5 for USC. I really think they're going to be in that 9-win territory. Where they might just be on the outside looking in at a playoff spot.
Okay. Wow. So you're pretty heavy on USC. They're one of those teams that what I say. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
So okie dokie. Now going to Washington. I think that's who's next. Yeah, Washington. A team that you had in your CFP prediction.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to hear what you're going to do here.
I really like this team this year. They overachieved last year. I think Jed Fish is a great coach. They've really restocked their talent. They have a really dynamic, solid quarterback coming back this year who got a little bit of experience last year. I think he might be enough to kind of take this team over the hump. They are at 7.5. I think Vegas is just I think they're really low on them. So I'm going over 7.5 for Washington, and I'm making it a Big Mountain ice cold lock. I see these guys in like the 9 to 10 win range this year, and knocking on the door of a playoff spot.
Ooh, that's 2 ice cold locks, Steve.
Yes,
we're getting close to football season when you're throwing out ice cold locks.
Love it.
So Illinois over 7.5.
Over 7.5, and
Washington over 7.5.
I think Vegas underestimates both of those, and they're looking more at what's happened the last couple of years and not what they have coming back this year.
Wonderful. Well, we're down to your final team, Steve. Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm just constantly crapping on Wisconsin. And it's a coach I like, Luke Fickell. I thought he was a good hire coming in from Cincinnati, but they have just been, honestly, I think I said this in another episode, they've been a disaster under his term there. I think they're going to, the funny thing is they might be another team that's a little bit better this year, but their schedule, I think they may have the hardest schedule in the entire country. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's definitely the hardest schedule in the Big Ten, one of the hardest schedules I've seen. They play at Alabama to start the season. They play all the good teams in the Big Ten. There's like no breaks for them. The over-under is 5.5, and I'm going under. And I could see them only winning like a game. Really, I think they're going to struggle to win more than one game in the Big Ten. If they get to 2, it would be a miracle, and that's not going to be enough. I'm counting Alabama as a loss. So if they only win 2 games in the Big Ten, that's not going to be enough to get them over. I really think the over-under, I think Vegas missed this a lot. Should probably be 4.5, maybe 3.5.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm going under Wisconsin 5.5.
Okay, well, there is Steve's picks for the Big Ten. Steve, we're at about 130 viewers, which is really good for us.
Yeah.
Especially when we're doing pick episodes. We're not doing any sort of
realignment.
Realignment stuff. So let's get back to this question about ESPN, and then I'm going to get to the Mountain West picks. So the question was, Steve, and I'm going to do a little shuffling here while you talk.
Yes.
But the question, let me go back to it, was about what do we think about the new ESPN plan? It's $30. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah.
I think the news came out today about WWE.
Yes. And NFL stuff.
NFL, the red zone's now going to be on. So just, do you have any overall opinions on that?
Yeah, I think this is just the natural progression of things. Fans have said for over a decade now that they want to cut the cord. They didn't want those big cable packages. People have been dropping their big cable packages. They want to have, what they want to have. And so ESPN they're moving to a direct to consumer. We've seen the ESPN Plus and the content they've had the last few years.
Yeah.
And they're stepping up their game, and they're doing it. They're going to have, SEC football.
Mhm.
They're having the NFL. They're buying the most valuable properties, I think, from the NFL. They already have Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Now they're buying the NFL Red Zone. I mean, they can use the name Red Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than that. I think they're going about it in a smart way. The price, I don't really have it is what it is. The market will set the market. If they price it too high, people won't buy it.
Yep.
If they price it low, a lot of people will get in, and then prices will go up later.
Right.
So, I think it's just they're making a smart move in what's the next progression and just what's happening in the world of sports and entertainment.
They made some noise, that's for darn sure, man. I mean, they're for a little bit like, oh, they're changing this and they're cutting that, and then what are they going to do? And bammo, man, they have come out a swinging. And I have no comments on WWE. I don't watch it.
Yeah.
I know it's big. It's got tons of. Talk about eyeballs.
Yes.
That alone is going to get them tons of $30 payments. But
WWE's been huge for both ESPN and Netflix has had it. So I will say. So I have been a long time follower of Disney earnings calls for many, many years. And a lot of people, most people don't understand what they mean on earnings calls, what is being said. And ESPN revenues have dropped, right? Well, they dropped from being like the all-time golden cash cow to like maybe they're not there anymore, but they're like here. Mm-hmm. They're still so much more profitable than any other sports network, any other network except for maybe like a Fox News or whatever. They're still incredibly profitable. No one is ever going to be as profitable as like 2005 ESPN was, Sports Center, everybody watching it, all that stuff. That era is over. This is still incredible.
Well, because there's guys like us talking and people can watch.
Yeah, watch on YouTube.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry, I had to say that.
No, that's great. You're exactly right. So I think they're making the best of the situation and getting all of these very valuable properties in. And I subscribe to. I have a Disney bundle. I have Disney Plus. I have ESPN Plus. I have Hulu, and I probably will have this.
Yeah, well, great points. I don't have much to add. Sargent says, he'd like it to be 20 monthly. Like you said, the market will set it, and if we'll see what happens. But it's where we're at right now, for sure. I mean, streaming is becoming king. It already kind of is, I guess, but it's only going to continue to grow. So, okay, well, let's get to the Mountain West.
Oh, I'm excited.
Let me get this up here. Boop. And of course, I'm going to go in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Although, why am I starting with Boise if I'm going in alphabetical order? Give me one moment.
Okay.
There. That's the correct alphabetical order. Air Force, because that's an A.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do my best not to over discuss these teams. Like we said, we're going to do previews of the entire Big Ten will be one show. The entire Mountain West will be another show. We'll probably get them out next week. I do want to just say, speaking of the Mountain West, you and I had a conversation with A.D. Boggs with Grand Canyon University. I produced that show before going live. It will drop tomorrow. So all of our Mountain West fans that are interested in knowing a little bit more about GCU and A.D. Boggs, tune in tomorrow to our channel.
And we asked her a very important question that Commissioner Navarra has put us to. So you got to watch that if you want to see the important question we asked her. The Commissioner Navarra said we needed to. Gloria said we needed to do it. We asked her.
We had to put some pressure on her. Yeah. So I'm not sure if we put pressure on her, but we asked the question. So with that being said, Air Force over and under. So I am actually going to go here, Steve, barely with the under.
Okay.
I'm not going to give my number, but I'm going to say barely with the under. 6.5. We know they struggled most of last year until the end. They went on a bit of a heater last year. And, you see a lot of people like, oh, they're going to bounce back. They're going to have another 8-9 win season. But when you go back to 2023, they were hot. And when they hit that wall, my goodness, did they hit it. Some of it, I think, and we talked about it 2 years ago, is just the style of play that they have and the body compositions that they have. They don't play well for a 12 game season. And yes, I think they're gonna be better than next year. But I'm an under 6.5.
And especially with the rule change.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we talked about they got rid of the cut blocking. You can't do cut blocking the way you used to be able to.
Right.
Our Army last year was able to adapt, and Air Force hasn't so far adapted to that as well.
Yeah. So I'm under 6.5 on the Falcons. Now we get to Boise. I was a few slides ahead of myself. Boise, of course, who we both had picked to make the college football playoff. And their 10.5 is their line, Steve. 10.5. You've had a few 10.5s on your picks. I am actually going to go over 10.5 on Boise State. They have a very strong team this year. Love Maddox Madsen. It's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy to be over, but I'm going to pick them over.
Yeah, love it.
Next one, we have Colorado State. They had a good season last year. The schedule lined up pretty nicely for them to have a good, in-conference season. I actually think they're likely going to take a bit of a step back in terms of record. I'm not saying talent-wise they are, but in terms of record. And I'm going to go under 6.5 with Colorado State.
If they go under 6.5, there's going to be some upset Colorado State fans, and you may see a shakeup there.
You may. I looked at the schedule, and
what's their tough? Do you remember off the top of your head out of conference?
Oh golly, no, I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the preview.
I don't remember, but yes, I will definitely talk about all of that in the preview. So, moving right along, we go to Fresno State. The Bulldogs, of course, new head coach coming in. Decent amount of turnover. They lose Mikey Keene. They lose Sherrod. I'll tell you what, Mikey Keene is. He is a very polarizing individual in Fresno State fans.
Yep.
Over the course of time, many of them have shifted and said he ain't worth the Wheaties he eats in the morning. I think that's a bit overstated, but they kind of got tired of him. And so I'll be honest, there's a lot of questions. They're going to do okay, but I don't have them going over 6.5.
Right.
I think it's close. I think it's a good line for this team. I think it's a good line, but I have them being under 6.5.
Yeah. And, 2 years ago, Mikey Keene, they were winning a lot of games, having a lot of success. Mikey Keene was playing really well, and they were doing great. And last year, they didn't do as good. And sometimes when you don't get the success you want, you look for a person that's a scapegoat or whatever, and maybe they'll find out this year, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't the problem, or maybe he was. Maybe, we'll see.
Absolutely. Big shoes to fill there with Coach Tedford moving on. So now we go to Hawaii, a team that I just think is on the precipice of being a top 3 or 4 team. They just haven't gotten there yet. But I still like them. I like this new quarterback that they have. They have a really good receiving core. It's always tough to travel to Hawaii, but of course, Hawaii sometimes struggles traveling to the mainland. But Steve, I'm going to actually go over 5.5 here with Hawaii. Another good line here at 5.5, like right there, 5.5, 6.5. I get that. But I think they're building something there. I like Chang, what he's been doing. I'm going over 5.5.
I love it. The Hawaii plays, I'm pretty sure, again, this year they play an extra game. They get an extra game.
Yeah.
So, I could definitely see them getting to 6 or 7 wins.
They got that big game in week 0 against Stanford out there in Hawaii. And, I have them winning that game. Yeah. I know we're not going down the preview route, but I have them winning that game.
I haven't seen
puts them over.
I haven't seen betting lines, but I'm guessing they'll be the favorite of that game.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they are. Yeah.
So that'd be a huge. If you're taking the over 5.5 and they can get out of the gate with a win over Stanford in week 0, that would be huge. They only have to they'd still have 12 games to get 5 more wins.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Nevada again, second year of Choate being there as the head coach. We're both pretty high on Purdy.
Yeah.
I think he'll do well. He is a dual threat there. But again, just trying to get stability there with that program. So I apologize, Wolfpack fans. I've got to go under 3.5. Again, line's pretty decent there at that 3-win mark. I think they'll struggle to be above it. So I got to pick the under here.
They start on the road at Penn State. I really like Purdy. I like the conversations with him, and I will be at that game. I'll be rooting for Penn State,
Sure.
but I'll also be rooting for him and his teammates just to get out there healthy.
Yeah,
get out there healthy.
We're getting some nice comments here. We've got they think Darius thinks Hawaii's going to win that Stanford game as well. Sargent thinks Air Force goes 8-4. They could absolutely could. Let's go Hawaii from Las Vegas, Larry, and go Lobos from Mario. Good to have you back, Mario. I'll be getting to the Lobos here very shortly. So we're moving right along. We get to the Lobos.
All right,
University of New Mexico. I want great things for them. I want great things for their fans, for Coach Eck, for everything. But yet again, here we are in another transition. And I apologize, but I gotta go under 3.5. I kind of put Nevada and New Mexico and another team that we'll talk about a little bit later, kind of right around the same spot. Could they eke out a win and push it over the 3.5? Yeah, they probably maybe could, but I mean, I just can't pick an over 3.5 for these teams. And you'll see why when we get to the preview, but I'm an under.
Well, and for me, for the Lobos this year, for me, it's not really about their record. They're not in the same boat as, let's say, a San Diego State, a Colorado State. The first year head coach after having 1 year of a coach, it's really a total rebuild. For me, if I'm a Lobos fan, let's look for what are we building? What can we get excited about?
Yeah.
And not focus on the record as much.
Well, we got some people a little bullish on the Lobos. Mario says over the 3.5. We've got Sargent saying Lobos over 5.5. Woo! He must know something I don't know. All right. Moving along, we've got San Diego State. Still a good defense. Mm-hmm. That defense is still really good. I think the offense is going to struggle yet again this year. Maybe take a step forward, under Coach Lewis. But we're going to see what happens. Like I still question the O-line. Some Aztec fans will tell you their O-line's much improved. We'll find out. It needs to be improved. They did not have a good O-line last year. And we're going to see what happens. But I've got to go under here, Steve. Under 5.5 for San Diego State. I was busting on you for hitting an under run. Well, I've now hit my under run here with a couple teams going back to back.
And I would say similar San Diego State, similar in position to Colorado State. If they go under 5.5 this year, there's going to be a lot of restless fans. Yeah. They have that beautiful brand new stadium. They ran their last coach out of town.
Yep.
They might be ready to do that again. And I like Coach Lewis. Like I met him. We both met him in person.
Sure.
And I mean, you hear him talk. He's a smart guy.
He is.
I think he's probably a good football coach. It's just they haven't really. And he said he picked this hand. It wasn't dealt to him.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes. But if they go under 5.5, there's going to be a lot of restless Aztec fans.
Yeah, agreed. You hit the two teams, and I'm picking them under. So I'm picking some restlessness in some cities here, some fan bases. So we'll see if that actually happens. All right, moving on. Let's get out of this under stuff, and let's get to a team that I'm going to go over with here. This is the San Jose State Spartans, and this will be my one and only, Steve. Big Mountain ice cold lock over 7.5. I like this team. I'm not going to give the number of wins yet. I'll tell you in the preview, but it's over 8. I can tell you that much. So I really like this over for San Jose State. I like what Coach Ken is doing there. This offense was good last year. I think it takes absolutely a step forward this year with Egan under center, a better running game. And again, that plethora of receivers that they put in. The defense, I think, is going to be as good, if not better as well. I said on some of these episodes recently, I think they're getting better. And I have some commenters like, well, everybody's getting better. No, they're not. Actually, not everybody's getting better. I'm sorry. But San Jose State, I'm very confident was already good, and they are going to be getting better. And they also have a good schedule without having Boise and UNLV. So in conference. So there's my one and only Big Mountain Ice Cold Lock.
I love it. I love this team. I think Vegas is completely off on that win total. I love this team, not just because Coach Ken is there, a great leader that I'm a big fan of. Last year, we both had our concerns about this team. And what they showed with the offense, with Egan under center and him coming back another year and having just more confidence and more experience and coming in as the instilled starter.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit for this team, and I think we're going to see them play in the Mountain West Championship game. Would not be surprised at all.
I would not be surprised. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Outlaw Cowboy Joe, a good follower on X. The first X comment that popped up over here, which is cool. I've been wondering if we were going to get one, but we do, thanks to Outlaw Cowboy Joe. And he says this episode is going to need a trigger warning for Pack fans. I think because I'm picking a lot of unders for some of the Pack teams, or future Pack teams.
Yeah.
Shout out though, because I am going to pick Oregon State and Washington State under later. I didn't put that on the slides, but we have Pack fans, Oregon State, Washington State fans. JEH is not in the house tonight, but I'm going to be picking Oregon State and Washington State at the end of the Mountain West.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So moving right along, we have a couple left. We have UNLV, USU, and Wyoming. So UNLV here, there's a lot of people that are really loving on this team, 10, 11 wins. I get it based on last year. I get it based on transfers. I'm not quite as bullish on them as some may be, but I am going to take the over 8.5.
Love it.
8.5 is, I'm actually a little surprised it's 8.5. I understand why it's 8.5, but I'm comfortable being over 8.5 for UNLV. Not going to lock it. I do have some concerns. We'll talk about that next week, but we're going over for the Rebels.
And if I remember correctly, they have an early season out-of-conference game against UCLA.
Yes.
I'm not asking you to comment on it because I'm sure you will in your preview.
Yes.
But for me, I think that's going to go a huge that's a winnable game. Like, to me, that's a 50-50 game, and I think that can go a huge way to determining if they hit the over. I probably think they will hit the over. I have a lot of faith in Coach Dan Mullen and this coaching staff, but I'm interested to see when you break down the preview, breaking down their schedule and all that, what your thoughts are. Because again, I think that early out of conference game, I think they had a couple opportunities last year. What was it? Syracuse and Kansas.
Yep.
They went 1-1 in those games.
Should have been 2, but
this is another huge opportunity for them. They still have the bad boy in the block, Boise, waiting for them later.
Yeah.
But man, if they could get a win over UCLA, a Big Ten team, and do well in the Mountain West, maybe not win every game in the Mountain West, but just do well, that could set up for a really nice season for them in Coach Mullen's first year there.
For sure. Shout out to a few new people. Rumblings is in. Jerry is commenting, UNLV will win the Mountain West. Tommy Gunn, good to have you here, sir. He says he sees 10-2 for UNLV. Rumbling says too many transfers may take time to gel. That's, in my opinion, the big question for UNLV about how long will it take for them to gel. And then Go Beavs, says Dave Stir. Dave, we're going to get to the Beavs here in just a few minutes. So next we've got Utah State. And the trigger warning continues because I have to go the under 4.5 for Utah State. They do have the Mendenhall factor, no doubt about it. They do have Bryson Barnes at quarterback, who I like. I liked him last year. We talked about that. I would have liked to see him get more starts than Petrus did. Tis what it is at this point. There's things that I like about this team, but to get to 5 wins, I think is going to be difficult for them. So I'm under 4.5.
I know Utah State fans, they're super excited. Okay, we got Bronco Mendenhall. We're going to the pack. Blah, all those things are super excited about. This is another team, like I said with New Mexico, that I don't think they should focus on the record as much this year. Bronco knows what he's doing. He's brought in some people. He's going to build this program. He's going to recruit really well in the state of Utah. And do really well out there. They have a bright future. To me, it's more about, what can he build? What can he show in the future for the future going forward, and not so much about the win totals this year. And I understand it's still going to be a rebuild in progress. So I understand you're under 4.5.
Yeah. So last one, Wyoming, and Justin is just in time with a massive super chat yet again. He says, JY saved the best for last. Wyoming in the Mountain West. My opinion, Wyoming will be over. Great show, JY and Steve. Justin, thank you so much. A member that shipped his glass just the other day.
Oh, yeah.
He should be getting his glass. I don't have one here.
So
but
he's
anyway,
a peak member.
He's a peak member.
All right.
He's at the peak. And he is the number one super chat dude that we've got. No doubt about it. Justin, thank you so much. So let's get to Wyoming. He says Wyoming is going to be over. Do I think they're going to be over, Steve? Probably not a surprise to you or most of our dwellers. Yes, I do. I think they will be over 5.5. We'll talk about them, why I think they'll be over. I don't think they're going to blow past 5.5. As you know, I've locked them on their wins. Actually, the very first ice cold lock that I had that I told everyone to bet the house
2
on
years ago, over
2 years ago, over something for
Over
Wyoming,
6.5.
and they blew it out of the water.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing that.
They won 9 games that year,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, so I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I am going to take the over 5.5. I think they will be much improved. I don't necessarily think they're going to, have a dramatic increase in wins, but I will take the over 5.5 for the Pokes. All right, I don't have slides, Steve. Go ahead.
What's the name of their tight end?
Oh, John Michael Gillenborg.
John Michael Gillenborg. I think he should be on them. I don't know if there's a Mackey Award watch list out yet, but he should be on it.
So real quick, I don't have slides. I apologize for the pack 2. But Oregon State, they are at 6.5. Is their over under? It's actually at a minus 176 right now. So a lot of people like that. I also like the over for Oregon State, over 6.5. And we'll do a little preview for these two schools. I'm not going to parlay them into the Mountain West, but we'll do something for them for sure. But I do like the over for Oregon State. Washington State at 5.5, so a game less than the Beavs there. And I'm actually going to take them under 5.5. I'm actually going to have Oregon State winning both of the Pac-2 games. If you like them to be split, then maybe you kind of like the over on Washington State. But I think Oregon State runs the table on Washington State, which clearly will put them over that 6.5 and will, in my opinion, put Washington State under the 5.5. So that's my thoughts on the two Pac-2 teams.
Makes sense.
All right, let's get to, you have some Heismans.
Oh, yeah.
Again, big shout out to Justin. Thank you so much. I see some other people, Jared saying Pokes with the over. Mario's, laughing because, Justin said we saved the best for last.
Oh, okay.
But of course, Mario has to bring up the point that we're going in alphabetical order. But hey, whatever works for you.
Hey.
Whatever works. I'm not here to judge. All right, let's go to your Heisman. What is this? Value picks.
Yeah,
Heisman value.
More
picks.
Heisman picks this year. So these are mostly all big. I have 6 picks. 5 are Big Ten picks. 1 is a Notre Dame pick.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go down the line here. I see we have them up. And it's funny, Jeremiah Smith plus 1,300.
Yeah.
And people are like, "How's that a value pick? He's the top player in the country, whatever." Well, honestly, I think that plus 13, he's going to get out of the gate. He has a big game against Texas, right? And I think he very well could.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get out of the gate strong. People are going to see him. And he looks like just such a beast.
Yeah.
And right away, the numbers are going to change. They're going to go down like a plus 400, plus 450, something like that. So you could buy him now and dump him after he has his first, because he's going to have some wow moments. And ESPN and Fox and everybody are going to cover that.
Yep.
The numbers are going to go crazy.
Yep.
So I say buy him now. And either you keep him because you think he's going to win it, or as soon as you could double your money, I think, pretty quickly in the season after he has a big game.
Okay. And again, these are value picks. So Steve just talked about that. Like you're buying now to get the odds to change.
Yes.
To then, which is what I did with Genty.
Yes.
And
you didn't sell
high. I held on to the money.
Yeah.
But I could have sold really high. And I was a Mountain West homer, and I held on to my pick.
And JY actually did a really smart thing to begin with.
Yeah,
that.
we need to talk about this.
Yes, and he was going to hold one, sell one, and they held both. But
that's the other thing. If I can mention this,
yeah.
If you like one of these players, I would recommend doing 2 or 3 bets.
Right.
And with these types of odds, especially as you get down here to Altmaier and stuff, like I'm not telling you to put $50 on these crazy. I mean, you can if you want to.
Yeah.
But you just sprinkle some cash and you do it. Like if you want to spend $10, I would do 3-3-4 or 5-5. And then as they move, you can cash one out and easily make your money back, plus some winnings.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on to the other one if you want to for the end. So yeah, highly recommend if you like this to do multiple bets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
My next one, Drew Aller, Penn State. I'm picking him again as a value bet. They're going to have an early game, the whiteout against Oregon. I think they'll do pretty well. And again, he's one of the favorites. I think he's in the top 4 or 5 at 1,800. So people are like, how's that a value bet? Well, if they come out of the gate, I think they will have a good game against Oregon in the whiteout.
Okay.
I think his numbers will also jump up. So he's one where, maybe you buy him now at 1,800, and after the Oregon game, he goes down to like a 700 to 900, whatever.
Right.
You have the opportunity to double your money right there. So again, these aren't necessarily like bet them because you think they're going to win. If you want to do that, you can make multiple bets.
Sure.
Now, my next one, Jeremiah Love. We have not seen a running back win the Heisman. We saw, Genty last year had one of the best seasons that a running back has ever had in college football and did not win.
Yeah.
Seems like this award has gone away from running backs.
Yep.
But Jeremiah Love at plus 4,000. I like this one either as a buy low, sell high, or as just a keep on it.
Okay.
Because Notre Dame has that mystique. Notre Dame gets the attention. Whatever. And this dude is a really, really good running back playing on a team who has a really good offensive line, who likes to run the ball. So Jeremiah Love at plus 4,000. I think that's a deal. And you can either grab him at 4,000 and sell him when he gets down to like 2,000, or hold on to it at the end of the year. Cause I think there's a chance there. If we're going to get another running back winning it, it's going to be a stud back out of Notre Dame. And that's what he is.
There you go.
My next one, a guy I've talked about a lot, Dylan Raiola, plus 6,500. Okay. Some good value there. A guy who I think could take a big leap this year. Really talented guy. If he takes a big leap and Nebraska does really well, those odds, he's going to go from being a plus 6,500 down to like a 2,500, something like that, where you could sell him, make a good amount of money, I believe.
Okay.
Same thing. The next one, Jada Maeva. Plus 6,500. I love those odds.
I think I misspelled that on the slide.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's Maiava. But anyways, plus 6,500. That's the important part is the number.
There you go.
Because again, a younger guy, a lot of talent. Playing for USC, big program, storied program. Lincoln Riley has that history with quarterbacks. If we see USC get off to a hot start and Jada Maeva is that name everyone's talking about, those numbers are going to go from 6,500 again down to like a 2,500 or a plus 3,000. Yeah, which you sell it, then you're doubling your money.
Yeah,
which I think is great value. Now, this last one, this is my long shot wild card, okay? Where
I love long shot wild card.
Yes, and I think this is a really good one to buy low at plus 25,000 right now.
Yes.
Luke Altmaier, Illinois quarterback, coming back, 5th-year senior, tons of experience. I have Illinois getting to double-digit wins this year.
Okay.
Could he win the Heisman? Yeah, it's possible, not likely. But man, you buy him at 25,000. They have a great season. They're sitting there, 9-0, 10-1 kind of thing. Those odds are going to jump way up on him, and you can 10 times your money potentially if they do really well. So these are my Heisman value picks out of the Big Ten. Plus, I got one bonus one out of Notre Dame.
Let me stick them up full screen so everybody can see them. You've got Smith, Aller, Love, Raiola, Maeva, and Altmaier. If you're interested, I had fun doing it last year, and you told me you're like, you need to, and I went, yeah, I'm going to wait another week. And then it went down a little bit, like, yeah, I'm going to wait another. It's like a stock. You're like, oh, it went down, it'll come back up. Yeah, it never came back up. And then once ESPN and all the talking heads got on the Hunter train, it was you were Dunskies.
Yep. And honestly, and you did something that I didn't even think of though. You had 2 tickets on him.
Yeah,
you were in such a good position, and that's what I'd recommend if you like one of these. A Jeremiah Smith, Jada Maeva, whatever, Jeremiah Love. Buy two $5 tickets on them. Right. And keep one as a flyer, and one you can make profits. Never be afraid to remember what I told you. Never be afraid to take profits.
I know.
What's Mad Money Kramer say? Never be afraid to take profits.
I couldn't tell you what he says. All right. He's got all those buttons. That's what I need over here. Bye.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell.
I bet Tommy Gunn. What's he think about that? Tommy Gunn.
About what?
About taking profits. You should never be afraid to take profits.
Well, he can comment. There's a couple comments. We're going to end with just a few comments on governance.
Okay.
I did have an what they call them? Stream?
Yes.
Something yesterday with Immaculate. So if you're interested in that information, but I want to get Steve's thoughts. And there's one thing I want to talk about with FCS, FBS as it potentially relates to the Mountain West. But there's a couple things here. Okay, so Matthew, he went ahead and put 50 on both Illinois and San Jose State.
You will not regret it.
He's taking some ice cold locks up in here.
It.
Well done. We hope you will all celebrate together here come, whenever it hits.
Yeah, Tommy Gunn, see?
There you go. Smart man. Okay. You got that's the most excited I've seen you gotten since we've been in Vegas.
I knew Tommy would love that.
There was a couple other ones here. Oh, Crimson is saying, must have missed JY's correct pick for Nevada to win the Mountain West. Most improved team in the Mountain West this year. Book it. I hope you're right. I'm definitely not picking them to win the Mountain West, so you definitely did miss that part.
I mean, I like Coach Choate. I think he's smart and a good coach. I like Purdy a lot. Good kid.
Yeah.
And I think he could be a good quarterback. So if that were to happen, that would be awesome for them.
Yeah, he's a good dude on my X as well. And then you got your wonderful chat there from Tommy.
Yeah, and so Sergeant Moore here, he says this year's Heisman will come from the Big 12. Very well could be. Mm-hmm. The thing to remember with these picks is I'm not necessarily saying giving you these guys like, hey, this is the guy who's going to win the Heisman. What I'm saying is you can get them right now at a good value. You know, FanDuel, DraftKings, those different things, they allow you to sell your ticket
right
when their value moves up and you can take your profits.
Right. T-Duck, I got to give him a shout out because T-Duck says back-to-back Big Ten championships for the Quack Ducks.
I think it's going to be tough.
All right. You never know. Okay. Last quick talk about Phil had to jump out. He says, take care. Thank you, Phil. Go Spartans is right. SJSU for the over ice cold lock. Governance, Steve. So it did pass as we had anticipated with not a ton of fanfare. I talked about that with Immaculate a little bit, like it just kind of so I'm going to get just any thoughts you have on the governance, and then I want to talk quick FCS to FBS potential realignment / transfer / whatever.
Well, I'll just say first of all, without getting too deep into this,
okay,
that I was worried that they were going to lock FCS out, basically lock FBS up the way it is now.
Yeah,
nobody else was going to get in.
Okay,
and they didn't do that.
No.
Which I think is great.
Yes.
And that's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
The other part of it is, the second thing is governance is, unfortunately to the common fan, governance is kind of a boring topic. You know, we had Immaculate on before, and I said, to explain to the fans why they need to be concerned about this or interested in whatever.
Yeah.
Because all the things that people like to complain about, whatever, this is where the rules are made. This is the room where it happens.
Yes.
Okay. Is
you going to start singing?
No, but yeah, so it is very important, but it's just not as exciting to a lot of people as realignment and all those kind of things. My third thing is there was some squawking, and we had some people on here, some good people that I respect who talked about putting up a fight and all this stuff, and trying to stop the power from being consolidated. But at the end of the day, everybody kind of closed their mouths and got in line and went along with it. And we'll see. It might be much to do about nothing because maybe things just kind of continue to go the same way. It's just that the A4 maybe can, do some things they want to do for themselves, whatever. Or this may end up being a terrible thing for everybody outside of the A4. And we don't know what it's going to be. We just know that they have the power now to do basically whatever they want. So there was a lot of people that made a lot of noise about it. But when it came time to vote and actually make the decision, I don't know if it was unanimous. I don't know if they actually gave a count, but there was really no resistance in the end to this whatsoever.
So 2 things to that. Number one, I appreciated Immaculate, who was on our show last week. Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to hear his comments, go to our YouTube channel. You can hear what Of course, that was pre-vote, but basically everything that we said in that holds true today. It just is finalized now. But anyway, now I lost my train of thought.
So 2 things. So one, we appreciate Immaculate.
No.
Yeah.
But there was something that he said last week.
Oh.
But I can think of the other thing. The other thing that came out here with Dellinger's tweets.
Yeah.
We've always, speaking of, hearing the other side of it, this power consolidation, the 3%. What Dellinger put out was like the alternative was 100%.
Yeah.
Like the
they gave an offer they couldn't receive.
Yeah. You were bargaining, if you will, between 100% and 63%.
Right.
Whereas I'm coming at it from, no, I'm not. I'm bargaining from 63 to 40 or something like that. But that really wasn't, and it never really dawned to me. And the other thing that Immaculate said, now I'm remembering a little bit, was that there was that potential threat of we'll just leave.
Yes.
And would they have really done it or not? I don't know if anybody knows, but they were probably about as close as they could have been. I really appreciated that. Last week, that's where I was trying to bring in, that conversation where, like,
and I don't think anybody really wants that.
No, I don't think anybody does either. Yeah. But at the same time, they're like, well, hey, if we can't get 63%, then maybe we have to take our football and or all of our toys and leave. Yeah. And I agree with you. I really don't think anybody wants that. Right. And I think this saves that now.
Yes.
Right. At least for a while.
At least for a while.
So yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the FCS FBS. So you mentioned that it came out today. It was a write-up done by the NCAA. I actually saw it from Sam Herder first. He had posted it first. So shout out to Sam. If you're interested in FCS stuff, you got to follow him.
He's the dude.
But it was basically saying, and there was some people misunderstanding what it said, but it said that for the next 5 years, the governance structure and requirements, I shouldn't say structure, the requirements are going to stay the same for Division I,
which is huge.
And some people read that as, oh my gosh, nobody can move for 5 years. No. It's not saying nobody can move for 5 years. It is giving stability to what that process looks like. And shout out to another guy on X who hearkened it back to Gloria Navarez's comments, who said it to us in our interviews about potential FCS. And she brought up one of her big things was, we don't know what that's going to look like. What if we invite and then things change?
Yes.
The dollar amount changes, the years change, scholarship changes. We can't do it anymore. Yeah. They didn't know until this was finalized. Yes, people knew what the proposals were, but they didn't know what it meant. Yeah. So shout out to, it was NDSU. I can't remember who it is. He's a North Dakota State guy, right? But of course, they follow this pretty damn close because their fans are ready to go.
Yes.
So I love how that all kind of came together. We've been talking about it. I wanted to shoot that out here tonight, that I think it's really important that the requirements today stay the same for 5 years now. So, do you have any thoughts? You kind of mentioned that already, but
I think that's huge. I think that's really important. There's certainty. It adds certainty.
Yes,
there's been so much uncertainty for the last couple of years, waiting for everything.
Yeah,
that adds some certainty over the next 5 years, where the Mountain West can make a decision, other smaller conferences can make a decision, the FCS teams can make decisions, and they know what the process is going to be, and what the cost is going to be, everything for the next 5 years. So I think that's a good window. I want to point out there's two other positive things that I really like.
Yeah,
one is they did streamline some committees, got rid of things, streamlined some processes, because a lot of people have criticized the NCAA for a while, how bloated they were, how long their processes took, everything. The other thing that I thought was really interesting that I don't think is getting enough attention. For the basketball subcommittee, they gave the Big East basically A4 treatment, which I think is huge. And I think it shows that they're not just trying to consolidate the power in the A4. In basketball, the Big East is basically an A4, and they got that representation on that subcommittee, and I think that's huge. It's a sign of respect for the Big East, which to me is a sign that they will respect other programs and conferences, in those cases when it is warranted.
I saw that today. I didn't look into it, I mean, the person that I saw type it, I'm like, yeah, they're legit. They're not making this
Right.
up. I can't remember who it was. But you're right. There hasn't been a lot. Like I said, there really hasn't been a lot of anything. Like,
Yep.
And I'll be honest, we've been busy doing all of our picks and our
Yes.
producers. I haven't had a lot of time to really dive into things too. But it is very, very important. Seeing a lot of people talking about North Dakota State. We got apparently some Bison fans on here. Joe says NDSU, please. I have Eric saying NDSU and Tarleton to the Mountain West. There was another one up above, W. Bundy, NDSU and Sac State to the Mountain West. So yes, there's a lot of support for the Bison to move to FBS. And I'd love to see it. We talked about that a lot. So
to me, Tarleton State, North Dakota State, they have to be what I think would be the top two choices or top two draft picks, whatever you want to call it, for the Mountain West right now, with maybe Sac State getting some consideration, maybe a South Dakota State. But if you're a Bison fan, you got to be really excited. And I think Tarleton, they're more on a slower path. They've been consistent with that, but this gives them a 5-year window to work on and get some kind of invite.
Huge. So there we go, Steve. I made it through without cussing a once.
Yeah.
So for this is an over-under episode. JY hit the under.
All right.
This is actually pretty user-friendly. We used StreamYard. So that was Steve, not me. I'm still under. StreamYard. And it was actually pretty cool. So and I'll tell you what, Steve, we got close to 200 viewers when you combine both X and our YouTube channel. So if you are watching via X and you're new to us, we do live episodes every Wednesday. It's on our YouTube channel. We probably won't do this X stream again, I don't think. It just so happened I could do it with the StreamYard, and that's not what we usually use. But I thought I'd give it a shot, and it looks like it went pretty well. You didn't have a curse jar. Sorry, that's it, Tommy. I didn't have a curse jar, Steve. But we do have a Big Mountain koozie. So anyway, if you're on here from X, we appreciate you watching us. And if you're new to the channel, we really appreciate you tuning in. We are going to pick every game in the Big Ten and the Mountain West this year. We do it every Wednesday night. We'll start with week 0 all the way through. By the time we get to CFP and bowls, we pick every CFP and bowl game by the end of the season. But I don't want to jump ahead of ourselves. We pick every Mountain West and Big Ten game every week.
And I'll also be picking every Florida State and Clemson game this year.
Get it right.
And I'm not sure, are you going to continue?
I haven't decided yet.
Beeves and Cougs.
I have not decided on the Beeves and the Cougs.
Okay.
We'll see how much JEH really wants me to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, I will definitely be picking all Florida State and Clemson games this year.
Okay. There it is. I debated instead of picking the Beeves and the Cougs, I actually thought about maybe picking UTEP and NIU.
Hey.
But we'll see what I have. We'll see what I do.
Well, there's always room for more family.
That's right. We'll see what I do. So, hey, guys, we thank you so much. Make sure you smash that like button if you're so inclined. And with that, hey, we'll see you guys next time. If I can figure out how to stop this, Steve. I'm going to stay on the big mountain, and I'm going to look like a big idiot because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I go up here to end stream. Look at that. All right. With that, hey, we thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.